Hey guys, I've got my friend Lauren Bryson from Safe Harbor Mortgage here with me. Lauren, welcome back. So glad that you're here. Today we are talking about conforming loan limits.
Stop that.
Okay,
This is fun stuff.
it is fun stuff. So guys, actually this is really cool. We got some really interesting stuff to unpack here because the conforming loan limits change for 2023. And so we're going to talk about what they were, where they're going, and how that impacts how much home you can actually afford going into 2023. So stay tuned. Let's get it. Lauren, thank you so much for being here. So glad that we could be here to talk about conforming loan limits. All right.
Exciting stuff.
So, conforming loans. First of all, let's talk about, we've all seen this maybe on a pre approval letter or something like that, but what is a conforming loan?
Good question. Think of a conforming loan limit as a standard or certain bucket of loans that a lender will extend to
Okay.
borrowers who are buying a house. So it's a threshold before you enter into what's considered a different bucket of loans, jumbo loans.
Okay.
So there's a threshold, and as homes increase in value and loan amounts increase, you'll see the conforming loan limit increase as well.
Okay. And so, as we talk about conforming loans, it's basically a loan with a set of rules. So, I like to think of when you think about conforming loan limits like riverbanks, and someone is saying, hey, here's the riverbanks, and you can lend however you want inside these riverbanks, but it's got to fit this standard. Is that
Yeah,
sound
I
about
like
right?
that.
Okay. So, conforming loan limits. What are some other names? Like, people may not, when they see that, oh, you've been approved for a conforming loan, like, is that a specific type of loan or it can be multiple types of loans?
You're typically talking about a conventional loan. It also applies to VA loans. FHA loans have their own standard conforming limit. But when you hear of the conforming loan limit changing, you're typically talking about a conventional loan
Okay.
where as it rises, you're able to borrow that money with a lower interest rate. It's easier to qualify and typically a smaller down payment comparatively to a jumbo loan.
So, with a conventional loan, for example, um, what does that down payment minimum look like? I mean, historically people have said, oh, you got to put 20% down on a house, but that's not always true with conventional.
Yeah, absolutely.
What can that look like?
Yeah, no, great question. So for first time home buyers, we have programs with as little as 3% down. If it's not your first home, or if you haven't owned a home within the last 3 years, you're considered a first time home buyer. So if it's your second home, time buying a home, 5% down is standard.
Okay.
Once you move into a jumbo loan, you're putting more, like, it depends on the property type and occupancy and number of units, but typically 10, 20, 30% down is required.
Okay. So it can be as little as three if you're a first time home buyer. For people that it's their second, third, or maybe more home, at least 5%. So that's one of the conforming things that you have to follow. Um, and then you'll get a better interest rate with more down payment that you put down typically. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Typically, if you can stick with the amount this year is $726,200. So if you can keep your loan at or below that amount, yes, you are typically maximizing your buying power.
Yeah.
And yes, saving money, making your money go farther.
So that rate, or I guess that limit of $720,000+, that's up from where it was in 2022, right? Because this is the new 2023 rate that you're talking about.
That's right. Yep, it's gone up about $79,000
Okay.
this year. So yes, you can buy more home and still be within the conforming loan bucket of loans.
And that's really important to know is that loan limit having gone up. Now, obviously, home prices over the last several years have really gone up quite a bit, and that's really why we're seeing that loan limit go up.
That's right.
Why are those limits in place? Like, what's the whole point of saying, well, you can only have a loan up to a certain amount? What's the purpose of that?
Good question. Within lending, a lot of it is about the amount of risk. So higher risk loan, it you have a different set of guidelines. Think of it that way. So the more money you lend someone, the higher risk you have of making your money back or potential default on a loan. So you always want to set up a buyer to be qualified and the loan be affordable for them.
That makes total sense. And so with that being the conforming loan limit, that's just the highest amount that you can borrow. But if you have a down payment, which you have to based on what we already talked about, then the actual purchase price of the home can be higher than that loan limit, right?
That's right. Yes. So you've got your purchase price and then your down payment, which will land you at your loan amount. So this conforming loan limit is that loan amount. So your purchase price will always be higher than that. But it's sometimes you get those two interchanged. There's a lot of percentages. Some of it's based on the loan limit, some of it's based on the purchase price. So we can absolutely help navigate those questions when you're buying a home.
And then if you want, you mentioned before the jumbo loan, if you were looking for a loan limit that was higher than that conforming loan limit, then you would be into a different class of loan, which is the jumbo loan. And that's going to have its own interest rates and its own set of rules as well.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I know I learned a lot. Like, that was really helpful to clear up what some of that is. And guys, if you're working with an awesome mortgage broker like Safe Harbor, you guys actually got to take advantage of the 2023 increase limit before other people, isn't that right?
That's right. So that is a perk of working with a mortgage broker and one that works with some of the largest lenders in the country who are able to take advantage of some of these, consider them rollouts before they're official. They'll actually back those new guidelines before they're on the market for everybody else.
Awesome. Lauren, thank you so much. Really enjoyed our conversation today. Guys, stay tuned. We're going to continue to talk about other things with regards to mortgages and lending and what some of those things are. So stay tuned and you'll be able to see what we got coming up next.
Great.
All right. Thanks.